So I think today in the session we have people that have signed up from both Europe, in particularly Spain, and also the UK, where we're based. I think we can probably get started. The session today is going to last around 40 minutes with a little bit of time at the end to have any questions. Feel free to pop the questions in the chat while we talk, and then we'll address all of the questions at the very end. And thank you everyone that has signed up for the live session. We've decided to put this together with the support of Jason and Jenny from Cortec. We thought it would be very insightful to share the learnings of your organization. So, you know, we call this a live session for all of us to share. So perhaps we can start with some introductions to let everyone, give everyone a little bit of context about us. Maybe Jason, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Hideki. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I'm Jason Blundell. I head up the sales and marketing operation for Cortech Developments. I've been with Cortec for 12 years, and I manage effectively all the different partners that we have around the world. We've got a number in various different countries, and I work alongside Jenny.
Hello everybody, my name's Jenny and I'm the sales coordinator and also the CRM administrator for Cortech Developments. I've been working with Cortech for 8 years now. I've got experience in different job roles over my career through customer service and also in technical support, now working in sales, and I look after quite a lot of the business processes as well.
Thank you very much. So you guys were the team leading the CRM re-implementation, right? Just a little bit about myself. I'm the lead CRM consultant at Redkey. I'm based in London. I've been working in the customer experience and CRM space for around 15 years. So been doing quite a few projects over 15 years. And I work for this company called Redkey, or is a consultancy business. We're fundamentally a technology business, but we help organizations become more optimized, customer-centric, and digitally mature. And we work on a methodology called CRM transformation that we help companies like Cortec to deliver on this, right? Maybe perhaps to start, you know, implementing CRM is a huge change in organizations, right? Let's start maybe by understanding who Cortec is. What do you guys do? What do you sell?
Well, yeah, so we're a software company, strangely enough, and so we're UK based. We've got our other main offices in the Middle East, in Dubai. We sell an integrated management platform. It's designed to pull together third-party systems in a building environment, so whether that's safety, fire, security, building management, energy, anything that you'll typically find within a building environment. And we've been doing this for nearly 30 years. So it's something, you know, people talk to us about integration and you know, the consolidation of systems and bringing all this sort of information technology together. And it's something that, you know, as an organization, we've been doing for a long time. Yeah, we've got deployments in various countries around the world and work through a network of resellers.
Yeah, so you're a technology manufacturer and you deploy your technology for other businesses, right? Yeah. Something that caught my attention is when I was preparing this presentation, your vision statement, In the second part of the vision statement says, delivering on excellence in our end-to-end customer experience, whilst always striving to improve our people and processes. These are the fundamentals of any businesses, the technology, people and processes. This is how you build capabilities. But the focus on customer experience is what drives you to improve,
Absolutely.
And that's definitely the foundation for a CRM vision, right? I believe there were things that needed to change in the business. I mean, a business that has been around for 30 years can get very complacent, right? Especially if you're so niche and you're so good in your product specifically. What were the things that were happening in the business or around the business that were forcing you to make a change?
Yeah, that's a good question, Hideki. There was a number of different things that we were considering as a business. Like you say, you do tend to get complacent if you've been around a long time. But we were aware there are a number of things that we needed to improve. So we're always looking to, as our statements say, to improve that customer experience. So I was well aware that we needed to do something to reinvigorate how we went to market. We first invested in Sugar CRM nearly 10 years ago. And it's only really in the last couple of years that we've properly embraced the platform. And then we needed to look at how we could make improvements and how we could make it centric to our business operations. We have launched our first ever technical partner program, believe it or not, after all these years. So we needed a better way of servicing our customers, a way of visualizing and surfacing that data that was already captured, but we weren't really doing anything with it. So we know that in order to grow, we needed to be able to look inwards, look at ourselves to be able to provide a better service to our customers moving forward.
Yeah. So I think a big change from what I understand on your business strategy was to develop your partner ecosystem. You sell your product through partners, and the partners then deliver onto the end customer, right?
Correct.
When you talk about delivering value to the partner ecosystem, you've always talked about making sure that they do more business. If they are able to do more business and the customers are happy, then you'd be doing well. How much of a change did this mean to the business?
Oh, it was a massive change. It was quite a large undertaking in terms of what we had to do. We've gone through our entire business processes. We've obtained and successfully used a number of different ISO processes, and they alone require you to be able to measure and monitor how you go about doing things. We wanted to be able to improve our own performance and response to our customers, and it was around improving the monitors and measuring that really needed to help us to drive those results, and having that visibility, being able to look at the data, the trends of how each partner's performing, being able to look at how we can use this data to help with our marketing efforts, and just enable us to really put the effort where we needed to.
Yeah. So fundamentally, having the data in the right place can help you surface that insight to make decisions, right?
Absolutely right.
I think in order to fulfill that goal, there is the three core elements that we usually look at improving to create the right capabilities are technologies, processes, and people, right? Which is, interestingly enough, is very in line with your the vision, right? What technology? What was the status of the technology before you started the project?
Jenny's smiling as well because it wasn't in a good place, Hideki. Let's say that. So we had a number of systems. I'm sure this will ring bells with many people watching and listening. That information was distributed around the company. Information was with particular individuals. There was lots of data that was stored in separate spreadsheets and databases. And the effort was to bring all this to one central platform, and to put all the correlations in place, and to be able to actually make proper business decisions. And it's something that we've only really started to be able to do after all these years, really. And for me, that's really been the biggest change, in being able to put everything within a single platform, and for all areas of the business to find benefit, not just sales and marketing, but our operations teams, our products teams, our delivery teams. So it's really been a transformational experience, and it's been really well received, and it's made us a lot more efficient, and people have really woken up and embraced it.
Yeah, when you look at the core issues or the core challenges, they're always related to having the ability to make decisions quickly. And the decisions come from insights, being able to have the information. That information comes from the data, and the data lives in the different systems that we use, right? So the CRM, your email platforms, your collaboration platforms like your Outlook, your Exchange, loads of spreadsheets, and very often a system may be a physical spreadsheet in a person's desktop, but it could also be a physical piece of paper where they store the data, that is related to the business, or even in their heads, right? To be able to create an insightful view of the customer, you have to have the processes that input the data in a centralized repository, right? Also, I think talking to you, you mentioned the way you do marketing really needed to improve. Also, again, fundamentally based on the data you collected. Now, one of the core things that you're putting focus on is partnerships. How has your partnership program changed over the last few years, and why was it so important that the technology supported this new model?
We've changed our entire route to market. We've always sold through channel delivery partners, but we formalized the process. We set a number of tiered levels for our partners to attain, and we wanted to reward those partners that had been with us for a while, and had the most skills in terms of delivering and supporting our product. And it was very difficult to actually surface that data previously, because when we're looking and comparing the number of leads and opportunities, actual orders, as well as other activity, there's a number of measures that you need to look at. It's not just about how much a particular partner has placed with us in terms of revenue, in terms of spend. It's also looking at other activities outside of just spend, and looking where, as a sales team and as a business overall, where we needed to put more effort and channel more time into, and that's enabled us then to put the focus where the focus needed to be.
Yeah, so it's basically having a very accurate insight, on performance.
Yeah.
So looking a little bit about the technology, because you used to have a system that was hosted in-house, because back in the day that was a requirement. It was quite constrained about the technology you were using, the hosting, the bandwidth, which impacted performance, accessibility, and then eventually you decide to make this move to the cloud, which is the biggest trend. So I think internally you had to justify that you were going to spend this money, right? So I think, Jenny, you did quite a lot of work trying to figure out exactly where the change will have an impact, and How will how did this process happen?
Yeah, it took quite a long time to put all the information together to justify a good business case to go forward. So we did quite a lot of different things. We did internal value stream workshops with all members of staff who use the CRM. We also did value stream workshops with senior management as well, just to identify areas of our internal processes where there was improvements, time that's wasted or could be sped up, just doing admin tasks that take a long time. We've also got things like the customer journey, what their process was, what's their customer experience from, contacting us for a quote and bringing an order in through us. We wanted to put all of that into the business case, looking at all the new features of the cloud version, what that would bring to us, and it was really good. There's a lot of features in the business case that we've implemented already. So we've, out of the box features like the dashlit reporting tools, they're really useful. We've got the business process module that again is proven really powerful. But we've also got other little mini projects we're now working on. We've got the customer journey plugin that we're now looking to use, which we couldn't have used on the older version that we're on. So there's lots of benefits. We're still getting them.
It's interesting because a lot of the times people think of CRM as one tool to do one thing, like in this case, either sales or customer service. But in your case, it definitely has an impact across the organization at a very horizontal level, and impacts the customer experience in every stage of the relationship, right? And I think some very specific features and functionalities that the software brought were very useful to you. You mentioned Sugar BPM, I think is the Sugar Business Process Manager, and also a customer journey, which is the tool. How are you applying this? How are they useful to you?
Yeah, so starting with the BPM, again, simple, using the study case from the business case, we recognised that there was quite a few time-saving areas. So just typing an email to acknowledge an order would have been a manual task before, 12 months ago. We've now created a workflow. It's a simple workflow. It sends an automated email out, but that's saving one person 5 minutes. But if you've got a lot of orders that you're processing, that automation is really good. They could be busy now spending time actually sending quotes out and things like that.
How about the customer journey? How are you using this feature?
It's a project that we're just starting to get our teeth into. We want to use that at the minute to help drive sales in our sales and marketing team. So we've again identified an area where we know we can improve on, and when we've got the customer journey plugin, we know that's going to close the gap even further to improve that customer experience.
So optimize the process. This experience of having the technology, using the cloud version of the software, where you get updates on the software, as opposed to what you used to do, where you were on an annual upgrade. What's that like? Has that made any difference?
Good. With using the cloud version, you know that you've got the latest version of the software. I think it's quarterly updates that we receive. We do receive email notifications when we're going to receive an update, so we can plan that in and test the new features out before it's rolled out live. Before, it was our RT department that managed that in-house, so that has now moved away, and they're again free. It allows them to get on with other duties that take more priority.
Yeah. So a lot of this automation, a lot of the ways you've set up the system to work have been very much focused on optimizing the processes. But there is also quite a lot of work that was done at the beginning of the project on designing the right data model, so all of the data can go into the right place on the different business processes, and then later you're able to use that data for marketing. What has changed in marketing? Because I remember that you used to, from talking to your marketing manager, she used to just had to send mass emails to everybody, right?
Yeah, Jason's nodding. Our data was in a little bit of a pickle, to be polite, before we moved over to the cloud. I mean, it's still a journey. We've still got a lot of work, but moving to the newer version and the cloud base has allowed us to put in more fields in the studio, so we can now better capture, and the data segmented a lot better. It's in a readable format. Not only that the marketing team can understand, but the sales team can understand, the support team can now understand that data, and we've now been able to target our customers a lot better and send out much higher quality marketing campaigns from that data.
So the key fundamental basis for that is having the right structure for the data model. So in a way, you can later use these attributes for the accounts and the contacts and the opportunities, the orders, to segment the email marketing campaigns, right? We see that's one of the most effective ways or the most effective impact that we experiment on customers when they move to a well-structured system in the cloud, right? So in that case, it's really interesting because that's very much in line with, in this case, we're using Sugar CRM as a platform of choice, and their motto is let the platform do the work, right? So let people engage in meaningful conversations with customers. Let the users analyze the data so they can get a better understanding of what's going on in the market, what's happening, because they have access to the data, and then let the platform automate as much as it is possible, which is, what the technology is taking us today, right? What's it been like in terms of, what's the difference between using the CRM before? Because 70% of CRM implementations are considered unsuccessful because people don't use the CRM. I think there's a bit of a difference in your case, right?
Yeah, we've done really well. I'm quite proud to say that the business case was OneDrive, but also the staff have got really on board with the new technology we've got there to use. It really helped that we were using this CRM before on the older version, so the look and the user interface didn't really seem that much different. But again, we didn't really have to train the staff, but then at the same time it was like, oh, we've got a new tool that we can play, really on board. They're actually coming to us now with more ideas, things that they want to implement. They're seeing improvements that they want to make in the business processes, which ultimately that's what you want from a business and the staff, because with their ideas as well, that helps also to improve the customer experience.
How was it? I imagine when you were doing the workshops, collecting the feedback from employees, did people feel a little bit skeptical about these sessions?
Yeah, I think that's the same for most companies.
Yeah. So user adoption is the number one barrier to getting the ROI from systems, right? So really getting people to participate at the very beginning of the project and collaborating with them until you deliver, and then collecting feedback is fundamental. How about Jason? In your case, you've had to report this to your boss, right? To the big boss. How has the application, the implementation helped you to deliver on the insights and the business strategy?
Yeah, it's made my job a lot easier. So yeah, I report into the board at regular intervals, and because I've actually set up a number of dashboards from reports that that Jenny's created, and it's simple because the data is there, it's live all the time, so they can dip in and out of the data. They haven't got to ask half as many questions as they used to, because the data is there for for them to see at any point in time. It's live, and when I do report in, we spend less time talking about stuff we used to talk about. It's more strategic in terms of the engagement. It's just, well, this trend is looking good, this trend is looking bad, and it's the focus is on what we can do about it rather than discussing the actual figures, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense, because you don't need to be, I always say in sessions with customers, you don't need to be doing Indiana Jones excavation work to find the data, and then find a piece of data and then corroborate it with somebody else, call finance, hey, does this look right? And then find out that our customer is owing us money, or if you have all of the data centered, all of the process of rationalizing the data to get an insight is much faster, right?
Yeah, and those insights are immediate, so we can capture stuff straight away. As soon as we think something's not looking good or looking out of place, we can do something about it. And I think that's the main difference. It's having that ability to react quickly, and not be caught out or be caught by surprise with something. So that's for me has been the biggest value add.
Yeah. So we also see that when we're looking at implementing technology, half the work of implementing the technology is putting the technology, configuring, and setting it up and blah blah. But half the work is thinking, right? Once you've done the thinking, once you've really gathered the requirements, done the business case, understanding the use cases, how long did it take you to go from that moment until taking the system to production?
Yeah, it's kind of setting the vision, as you say, was important. So it was setting the vision, getting everybody on board and getting them excited about what the vision and what we wanted out of the vision. And then I'll let Jenny answer the next bit around how long it actually took, because Jenny did a great job project managing this with a CRM administrator hat on.
Yeah, I worked alongside a good team of people with Redcape with the upgrades. We got through a couple of hurdles, but the business plan that we'd set out was really good. We'd once the upgrade had gone ahead, we just went through which projects we needed to set up internally, which ones were quick wins, which ones we could benefit quickly, and then long-term ones we're working on some of those now, and we've also got plans that we're working on for next 12 months, 2 years to try and implement.
So you took a big project and broke it down into pieces and focused on the fundamental part, right?
Yeah, correct.
The very first part of the project is the foundation for everything else. Yes, definitely. CRM is not a destination; it's more an ongoing journey, right? The business changes. The business changes in the commercial side. It changes regularly, so we need to be able to adapt to that. So obviously, it took quite a long time for you to get to this newest version of how you implemented CRM, and there's probably a few things you've learned along the way. What we find is that when we implement CRM, we're not necessarily talking just about the technology and the software and what the software can do and the features. We're actually trying to understand what are the business processes that the organization has to deliver in order to deliver the best customer experience, and how those processes need to be optimized and need to be delivered in a way that the customer feels the benefit. But we look at three areas of value, right? The customer experience, how can we impact how the customer engages with the organization, so we deliver a seamless and effortless experience. The second one is how the employee experience, how do they experiment the process of delivering those services to customers. And the third one is the value to the executive team by delivering the right insights. So generally, this analysis that we do to deliver projects, where we try to understand, how do we generate more demand? How do we do more sales with less effort? How do we automate, deliver customer service, and then use all that data to retarget customers, right? To impact the whole cycle. You've had to do a lot of this thinking for us to be able to see how we shape that, right? So it's really interesting, because a lot of the times when organizations look at the project, they are thinking, oh, what does the software do? And then they go and focus so much on software features, but not so much on process design and customer experience, right? So I think this is a fundamental part why your project has been successful, right? So you were telling us, what are the things that you've learned. Now you're collecting feedback. People are telling you, can we do this, right? Yeah. That's very different from what it used to be.
It is, yes. Yeah, so we've got an innovation team now internally just for CRM changes, update ideas. We review those, so we see if it's possible to implement, and then if they are, we can try and put them into the system. So it's all about having the staff engagement, because we know that if the staff are motivated, then it helps to drive business and customer experience.
Yeah, well, the staff relationship with the software is very positive, right? So they are able to say, okay, it looks like we should be able to do this. So you're designing better ways to work based on what you're able to deliver on the software. And I think you mentioned also that, like what you were saying, everybody has been quite supportive and excited about getting these things on board. But these projects are very difficult to deliver. They take a lot of stamina, getting everybody aligned, having those difficult conversations, dedicating the time into focusing. So we always think that great teamwork is necessary in this regard. How did that come about in your side? Because you probably had to go from top to down, but also at a horizontal level, right?
Yeah, correct. Again, it's just reinforcing the business case. I know I've mentioned that a few times, but there was a lot of good things in there. So drill it down, work from the top, got the two directors, the main stakeholders on board with all the information that I put in there. The productivity gains, that was the main drive in there. Once the staff could also see those productivity gains, that again reinforced the reason for the upgrade. And again, we're still working on that now, because they can see the time saving and the added benefit from that. That's why they're so on board with all the changes.
So Jason, you have to lead your relationship with your outside customers, and in a way, the way we're being a partner to you, you have to be a partner to your customers, right? How fundamental is it for you to have the right partner to deliver this transformation?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, it's like anything. It's only, the product or the service is only as good as the partner that's delivering it. And we've been very, very fortunate in partnering with Redk over the last number of years. And we very much work as a partnership, and the project was delivered in partnership with Redk. It was done very successfully. There's some really talented team individuals. They helped with providing a lot of the information that we used in the business case, and were able to provide a lot of detail and explain how a lot of the new features would work. I think without the help and support of the Redk team in the back office, it would have been a much tougher road to walk down. So thank you for that, Hideki, and it really has been a pleasure working on this project together.
Yeah, I didn't do much. It was all the team, our team that worked really, really hard on the project. Or we put a lot of attention into the human element or the human part of delivering projects. The complex projects are not delivered by software; they are delivered by people. So in order to get that far, we have to work together to achieve those type of results. So it's not just the technical element of delivering the project, it's also the human element of knowing how to collaborate at that level, right? We believe that's a fundamental part. And we always go back to what you want to achieve, right? So ultimately, you want to be able to deliver value to your partners and your customers, because that's what's going to drive the revenue. So understanding that is fundamental to delivering the project properly, right? So I go back to this vision statement. What is the feedback of the executive team so far?
The feedback's been really overwhelmingly good. I think we've managed to turn some of our old objectors into supporters. Jenny's laughing. You always get people who will find hurdles in terms of using the business processes and systems that are put in place to for a reason, to provide better customer service and a better customer experience. But the implementation and looking back at how it's gone and I still feel we're only at the start of our journey in terms of what we want to now do with lights are switching all the time in terms of what we want to do with the CRM and how we can make it even more business centric. But to me, it's ticked every single box in terms of what we were looking for in our vision and mission statement, because it really is about making that customer experience better, quicker, and to me, it's about that visualization and consolidation of the data. And for everybody to have visibility of that, for me, has been the real winner here.
Thank you. I'm going to use a question that someone has asked on the chat. There's two questions, but I think one will be applicable right now. Are you considering implementing more functionality, more systems into the digital CRM framework? What's on the pipeline?
Well, we've got the customer experience, customer journey module to look at. That's something that we've now going to move forward with. So that's about, again, looking at how the journey changes with each customer. We have various ways of tracking that, so I'm really excited to be looking at how we can implement that. We're also looking at integration of some other platforms, particularly around our operations team and how we can better support customers with, because one of the things that people may not be aware of is that one of the other fundamental reasons we went with Sugar is because of the way that you can have your bespoke module building functionality. And we have a bespoke module in terms of managing all our customer tickets or cases through CRM. So we're looking at how we can use the integration that is available with some other third-party systems, again, to better increase our customer response in terms of our own support people. So how we can better manage our whole operations and support process.
So integrating the customer service, the technical support platform into the CRM. What platform do you use for that?
Well, we're at the minute we don't have one, so that's what we're looking at. What's going to be the best platform? Because to be fair, CRM has enabled us through the custom module and cases to be able to manage everything with CRM. So we're just evaluating to see what else we can look at. And one other thing we also that Jenny's going to be working with me on the next few months is getting our quotations fully automated within CRM, because there is still a large manual aspect to that in terms of actually creating our sales office. So we want to get that last piece of the puzzle finished so that the quotations can be generated automatically.
I remember looking at the quoting models. The way you quote, it's so complicated because every project has very unique SKUs and it's a combination of services and products. So you're thinking of bringing that into the CRM as well?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, just how we can be more efficient and save time and have a quicker turnaround for our partners when they're asking us for specific costs.
Okay. So thank you very much. This is exactly the work we do when we talk about CRM transformation. I mean, some of the companies we work with, we're trying to get them higher into the digital optimization, digital maturity curve. It's really cool to work with teams that understand the impact that we can have in the organization, and that is not just about installing a piece of software. It's actually, how can we align with this directive of the business of, how do we achieve a competitive advantage? How do we impact the bottom line, right? So it's been, I think the feedback from the team as well is that they are not only happy that the project has been successful, but they're happy they participated in the project, because the human element as well brings a lot of satisfaction to employees. Thank you very much. We're like literally perfect for time. We don't have a lot more time, but if you have any questions about any particular area of the presentation, the product, the way we deliver the services, oh, hold on, there is one question. How long did it take for Redkey to implement the whole transformation? So from the technical part. So from the moment you kind of decided, okay, we really need to do this, or the team approved that.
I can answer that. Yeah. We started putting our business case together May, June last year. And we'd got a few different options that were brought to the table. We then contacted the team at Redkey to then go ahead and place the order. I think that was placed in July, September time. And we'd actually got the upgrade a couple of days before Christmas last year.
So 4 months.
Yeah.
4 months. In that process, I think one of the biggest tasks you had to do internally was probably work on the quality of your data, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a little bit of a pain, but yeah. So it's a relatively short time frame. So if you look at the probably you spend a couple months, 3 months creating the business case internally, having the internal conversations, and then engaging into driving the change. Driving the change is very important because these type of projects that transform the way the organization works, they don't happen over 4 months. 4 months is the beginning. And then from then onwards is the journey of constant optimization, right? Obviously, there is a point where you reach a status of analytical capabilities, because all of your data is there, it's very structured, you're able to get insights because you've optimized. But having that fundamental first part of the project being delivered correctly, it needs to happen fast. Because if you have to wait a year for that, you might as well, the business might as well have changed so much, especially, over the last couple of years where the environments have changed so much, right? So yeah, if anybody else has any more questions, please do email us. We'll be happy to answer. Thank you so much, Jason and Jenny.
Thank you.
This is the beginning of everything. And we'll see you in the next live session. Thank you very much.